Children's Department at the Larchmont Public Library, and I'm so pleased to be doing our historical first Juneteenth celebration. I hope this is the first of many to come, because it's an important holiday, and it's something that I never knew about. And I learned about it when I happened upon a parade, and that's how I became educated on it. So I was pleased when Tanya came in to tell me about it that I knew what it was, and you were impressed. And this came together kind of organically out of our enthusiasm. And it's the first time we've ever worked, collaborated with One Mamaroneck and with the Education Committee, and I'm thrilled to be doing it. And I'm glad that you guys are going to get an experience with the drums, because it's a lot of fun.
Good evening, guys. My name is Tanya Thomas. I want to again thank Rebecca. It's been a really fantastic thing. It came together very quickly. She was very receptive, and it's a fantastic thing for our community. Several other communities have been doing Juneteenth events, and now in Larchmont Mamaroneck, thanks to the library, we have our own Juneteenth event. The Education Committee compromises of Andreen, Virginia, who is outside, hopefully sending people to this area, and myself. I'm Tanya. And the order will be pretty light. We have two young people who are going to tell you guys about Juneteenth, rather than listening to one of us. Then I will read a story. I'll tell you a story, and then we'll get to the drum.
Celebration, I would like to start with the official Juneteenth poem named We Rose. From Africa's heart, we rose. Already a people, our faces a bond, our bodies lean. We rose. Skills of art, life, beauty, and family. Crushed by forces we knew nothing of, we rose. Survive we must, we did. We rose. We rose to be you, we rose to be me. Above everything expected, we rose. To become the knowledge we never knew, we rose. Dream we did, act we must. Juneteenth, also known as Juneteenth Independence Day or Freedom Day, is an American holiday that commemorates the June 19, 1865 announcement of the abolition of slavery in Texas. General Order Number 3 began most significantly with, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and free laborer."
January 1st, 1980, Juneteenth became an official state holiday through the efforts of Al Edwards, an African-American state legislator. The successful passage of this bill marked Juneteenth as the first emancipation celebration granted official state recognition. Edwards has since actively sought to spread the observance of Juneteenth all across America. The June 19th announcement came more than 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. So technically, from the Union's perspective, the 250,000 slaves in Texas were already free, but none of them were aware of it, and no one was in a rush to inform them.
Story. You're probably saying this is a library. Why am I telling you a story? I'm not reading it. Because West African culture back then was an oral culture. So people told stories. I'm going to tell you about a little girl. And her name was Anewa. She lived in a village called Newi in what's now known as Nigeria. Now, there was a big party in her village, because there had been a wedding, and children from all over, they came and they were playing and having fun. Now, her favorite game was a game called Egu Onwa. Egu Onwa, Egu means play, and Onwa means moonlight. When do you think this game happened, if it's called Egu Onwa? Yes?
At night.
Yes, it's at night. That's what they called hide and seek back then, Egu in Nigeria at that time. Egu Onwa. So these kids, they were so excited. Yay, so she went with about 15 of her new friends, and they went into the woods to play Egu Onwa. And they were laughing, having so much fun. The adults said, okay, the kids, they're taking care of themselves. You know, we're good, because they don't kidnap people anymore and take them away. So we don't have to worry. So she ran, her brother Ijeoma, he was it. So they blindfolded him. And they all went to hide, and she hid behind a tree, and she just couldn't wait. And then she realized she wasn't hearing his little footsteps, and he wasn't asking where anyone was. And then she noticed she heard bigger footsteps. And then she heard her brother trying to scream. It turns out he had been kidnapped. And she thought, oh my goodness, I thought Grandma said that this didn't happen anymore, because it had been 20 years and no one from their village had been kidnapped. And then suddenly someone came and they grabbed her. And she was taken away. And she saw her brother normally protected her because he's her big brother. But whenever he tried to come close to her, this man who was pushing them along and speaking a strange language, he would hit her brother. So then she realized, I'd better not say anything. And they walked for many, many days. And she had no idea. She hoped her father would come to get her because Dad was always there to rescue. Didn't happen either. After many, many days, she got to what she thought was a big river. But it wasn't. It was the ocean. And at that time, they split up all the children and put them with other children who spoke really funny languages. And they got put on a ship. And for many days, she was in the darkness. And she had no idea where she was, what would happen. And she ended up in what we know as America. See, and that's one of the things. At one point, she was a normal kid, like everyone else, living her life, having joys, having stories, eating her mom's soup, things that she liked. But then she was taken and made to work for nothing. She was enslaved for many years, and she worked and worked, and at night she would dream of her father. And one night while she was dreaming, she thought she heard her father in her dreams saying a word, "Nuere onwe." And she thought, oh, am I free? But then she woke up, and it was the same thing. She had to go work in the fields. And she did that for 20 years. And then one day, she's there and she's working and she's feeling so lost and so unhappy because she couldn't speak her language. She couldn't even say her name. And then Nellie, who worked as the cook, who was also enslaved, came running out. And it was June 19th. And Nellie yelled, "We're free! We're free!" And Anewa, she cried, she laughed, she didn't know what to do because she couldn't believe she was free again. And then in her mind, she said it, "Nuere onwe." And then she started yelling it loudly, "Nuere onwe." Can you guys yell it?
Nuere onwe.
Nuere onwe.
Nuere onwe.
Nuere onwe.
Nuere onwe.
And across the ocean, her father heard her cry, and he went out into the village and he yelled, "Nuere onwe."
Nuere onwe.
And so they started the celebration of Juneteenth.
Heels in. Pull the bottom in, top out. One hand. Your good hand. The middle of the drum. At the same time I'm doing it. With different kinds of drums. Now these, if you have a drum that looks like an hourglass, like this one, this is called a djembe drum. Say djembe. 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 Okay, it's a djembe drum. At one time this was a tree. They cut it down. They shaped it. They hollowed it out. Then they put an animal skin on it. Raise your hand, no calling out. Little people, what type of skin do you think it is?
Maybe a cow or a goat.
Goat skin, very good. This is a goat skin. If you look at your drum, you'll see a line. Some of you may have a line. That's the goat's back. Okay? They take the skin, they stretch it over the drum, they put a metal ring on it, they fold the skin up, put another ring on it, fold it down, and then they put ropes on it to pull it tight, and they tune it. Say djembe. 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 So the June drums have cow skins. Now, then you have the boogaboo drum, which is sort of like a djembe, but not exactly. This has a cow skin on it. You have one on it. This is a drum that's specific to Ghana. Okay. Sometimes, like that drum laying on the floor there, I just put a cow skin on that stick. Repeat after me. Never hit a djembe with a stick.
Never hit a djembe with a stick.
Never hit a djembe with a stick.
Never hit a djembe with a
You
stick.
only hit Junjuns with sticks.
Only hit Junjuns
Because
with sticks.
Junjuns have cow skin.
Junjuns
Junjuns have cow skin. Hit the drum in the middle. Now sound comes out the bottom of the drum, so that's why I told to tilt it. So when I say bass, you hit the drum in the middle. Bass. Now, who has a big drum over there? Your bass. So you only play when I say bass. 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 Bass, bass. Tone, tone. Bass. Tone, tone. Bass. Tone, tone. Use both hands. Bass, bass, tone, tone. Bass, bass. Think we can do that? Think we can sing that together?
I think we can sing that.
Let's try it. It sounds like this with me. Just follow along. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe. I'm John Grady, but I'm Robert, which means grandfather. That's BB's Martha Grady, which grandma, she don't like that.
I love that. What are you talking
But we call him BB. And that's just Mickey. Although he's older than everybody.
Don't take that, Mickey.
Cycles, you can be a perfect drummer because the drum is playing for you. So we're gonna, everybody slowly join me. Just the four rhythms. Essence of all African music, which is call and response. This side was calling, that side was responding. It's a rhythm that people use to not to talk, but to relate through drumming and vibrations. So everything, I don't know, anybody doesn't know Harry Belafonte, but he had a song called Deo. And he would say, Deo, Deo, and then you answer him. So it's always a call and response. And the drums, when you hear African drums, it's always about the family. The family is the most important thing in African culture because all the drums are based on the family. That's the baby, that's the father, that's the baby, father, mother. In the African Yoruba drums, it's the iya, the mother drum. It's the itoteli, the father drum, and the okonkolo is the baby drum. If you look online and you look at drums, you'll see some of the drums have feet, because the drums are part of the family. So when you hear a drum playing, you might hear a baby singing, or you might hear, a father playing. And in the Yoruba language, the father drum is called the one that follows the mother drum. So the drums have a different sense of who's in control of things at time. Drums dictate that. We learned, the Yoruba players learned from nature how to play. You listen to the birds, you listen to nature, and that's where the rhythms, the serious rhythms come from nature. And the birds and the trees, so you want to, sometimes to get a drum, go out, get some maracas, get some shakers. There's all kinds of different percussion things. But we walk in rhythm, and our bodies work in rhythm. Center in Harlem, you can get these drums. It's important that the kids get to do this and dance and show their energy and their positivity. And I'm out of time as always, right? I've been out of time.
Focus now. As I was walking, I saw a dog. The dog started to chase me. I started to run. How did your heart sound? Run all the way to the start. Repeat after me. Shave, haircut, 2 bits.
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 Think we can play that? Let's see if we can play that. Shave, haircut, 2 bits.
Start slow, start slow.
1, 2, 3, ready, go. Okay, and I hope you might have learned something. Thank you.
It's the heartbeat, and you young people, you are the heartbeat of our community, and you played together really well today. So keep it up. You're the community, and you've done a great job. And we were very lucky. We have some refreshments. Now, beautiful cake that was donated by a local mom who has a bakery. And we've got some, normally they drink a hibiscus drink, kind of red zinger tea. But, oh, you guys like that? Next year we'll have that. This year we have cranberry juice because I didn't have time to make the hibiscus tea. Okay, but you guys were fantastic.
Actually, you don't see maybe giant cranberry.
It's Juneteenth.
Ready? Thank you.
There was one guy that was
What did you do today? Explain what happened.
Well, today we did some drumming for our Juneteenth festival, the first ever annual Juneteenth festival at the Larchmont Library.
And how did everybody enjoy it?
I think everyone enjoyed it a lot. Everyone was having a lot of fun, so.
Is this the beginning of something every year?
Yes, definitely.
Explain.
I think it's probably going to be something of every year because it's a pretty good thing to have 30 people on our first celebration, and we are planning to do it again next year.
What's your name?
Eliana Thomas.
What happened today? What did everyone do?
All of us got to learn how to play the drums and like the different types of ways you can play the drums and the different type of rhythms and the cultures that the Africans do there, and like you need to put your heart and soul in the drums and like play. And then we also got to learn about the African culture. Yes, it was fun.
And what was the celebration all about? What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? A lot, because the black people had to go through a lot to be free from slavery in Texas, and that's a big accomplishment for us. Pierce Krebs.
And tell us about today. What happened? What was it all about?
Yes, I'm really excited. Today was a great experience. We saw a lot of members of the community come out to really get to understand and learn about Juneteenth. Really want to thank Tanya, Virginia, and Andreen for putting together today's event. And it's just inspiring. I really feel as though this is, the kind of thing that our community needs to bring everyone together, as opposed to seeing ourselves as different and others. Yeah.
And I gather it came out of One Mamaroneck. What was One Mamaronek's role in bringing this all together?
So One Mamaroneck originally came together as an idea about bringing change to Mamaroneck, particularly around issues of bullying, around racism and toxic leadership within the Mamaroneck Union Free School District. And that arose following a situation that occurred with my family back in December, where my daughter and her two friends at the Homics were called the N-word. And so over that time, we've seen lots of other issues and other families talking about the ways that their students have been treated. And One Mamaroneck sort of evolved out of that collective conversation within the community. And so we're excited that we now have a partner in the Larchmont Public Library and others within the community who see this as a way forward. And so we're looking forward to continuing this partnership and growing it. Yeah.
And this Juneteenth celebration. What does that mean to a community like Larchmont?
Well, it's an opportunity to learn, right? Because I think that there are many in the community who did not know what Juneteenth was. I think that there are also people in the community who have a misunderstanding of what Juneteenth is. And so regardless of what your race or other social identity marker might be, it's an opportunity for us to learn together, and as a result, again, grow from that.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much. Excellent job.
Well, today was celebrating the African American experience and celebrating the liberation of the last group of enslaved African Americans. And specifically for our community, it was an opportunity for us to all get together in Larchmont, which has actually a very long history of African American presence. So this was a great opportunity. Well, the children all got to learn a bit about West African culture. They had a chance to learn that the people who were enslaved were people, and they had cultures and families. Well, we were trying to enlighten the community because a lot of prejudice comes from ignorance and lack of knowledge. So it was really, really great of the library, the place for knowledge, to partner with us to bring this to the children of our community. And it was lovely to see them all drumming together learning together and bonding.
Okay, so go get your drum. And
I gotta get the
tell us a
djembe
bit
that you
about
made.
the turnout. How happy were you with the turnout?
Well,
And who came?
Well, the turnout was very, very good, and we were all very pleased with it. It's the first of its kind in the community. We weren't sure how it would go, so we were very, very pleased to have so many children of all ethnicities and so many adults who participated and drummed and learned. So it's a good way forward for us.
So it was fun and educational.
Definitely.
What did people learn about?
Well,
Understand.
Well, the two of the children in our community did a presentation. So they told the children went away with the facts of Juneteenth, told to them by their peers. And that's always a better way for children to learn when it's coming from their contemporaries. And they also got to learn with the drumming and with John Grady and his team. They got to learn of the West African influence in so much of our culture and in so much of music of all nationalities. So that was really a very good thing.
Is this something that will happen every year from now on?
Yeah, well, we hope to have it moving forward. I know the library was very pleased with it, and we hope to expand it next year with more lead-in. More members in the community can know about it. In this case, we had a pretty small lead-in. We only publicized for maybe 2 weeks, and we still had such a great turnout. So we had, I think, over 40 people, which is fantastic for a Saturday afternoon with good weather in the summer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.